and AEW had, a PR report out there a little bit that, we're working with stunt coordinators and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I hate that they feel they have to do that, but fine, people need it. So whatever.
You know what? They probably shouldn't do it. And I don't think people need it. I think this is a clear situation where it's whatever you want to call it. Concern trolling, pearl clutching, bad faith criticism is exactly what this is. Okay. What happened here with Darby is he did an extremely cool spot that got over with the fans in the building and with AEW fans. So all of the worst people on the internet and the anti-AEW grift community, of course, had to find a way to shit on it. I mean, that's just the game that we play now. And it is getting tiresome, but that's what it is. And AEW putting out that PR statement to talk about how safe it was in reality, to me is wholly unnecessary. Let these people whine and cry into the void and be a bunch of big giant babies about something really cool that happened on the show. It's by acknowledging them, you're acknowledging them by putting out a statement. I don't think it's necessary. You don't have to reveal the magician's secrets. You don't owe anybody anything. The guy's fine. He was at the presser an hour after the spot laughing and talking. And, he left his procedure in the middle of his procedure while getting his stitches to go talk because he thought it was important to go talk with Sting on the presser. He was fine. Okay. Could it have gone poorly? Yes. A lot of things in wrestling can go poorly, but all of this whining and crying, it's all such pearl clutching nonsense from very transparent people and I don't know who needs to hear this. And I do know who needs to hear this. The world's dumbest people. But if what I'm about to say offends you, you fall into that category. It wasn't real glass, you fucking idiots.
Sugar glass.
Okay. It is incredible to me how many of these people are out there whining and crying about real glass when it was patently obvious. First of all, they would never use real glass for these spots.
Yeah,
okay.
It'd be ridiculous.
But it was obvious that it wasn't real glass. It was, the way that it shattered and everything else. And these people out here complaining and crying about, I can't believe they used real glass. There were children in that crowd. What about the children?
Somebody please think of the children.
And it's just such, first of all, I hate to dig up a term from the 1950s, but how much of a fucking square can you be? I mean, there's shards of glass shattering into the crowd. That could have gotten in someone's eye. What are you, my mother? Like when I was 10, like thinking everything's going to get in my eye? Like how much of a fucking dork and a square can you be to complain about a spot that was that fucking cool and memorable and awesome? I mean, seriously, because a little bit of sugar glass went spraying into the crowd, which, by the way, anybody who was sitting, near this sugar got themselves a nice little souvenir to take home. I think that's cool as fuck for those fans that were sitting there, and Rich, none of it is genuine. That's the thing. It's pearl clutching, concern trolling nonsense. And we have to stop acknowledging it. Let these people scream it to a void. So that's why from that standpoint, that bothered me.
Yeah, I didn't like them coming out. I let the people, if they're going to do their shit and people want to argue with them, fine. But I don't need AEW telling us how the sausage is made. Oh, well, actually, we consulted with and they did the spot ahead of time, and the Bucks had a plan. Just what, we saw it. It was awesome. It was cool as fuck. I don't care. You don't have to. You don't owe us anything. A wrestling company doesn't owe wrestling fans that.
When did wrestling fans stop wanting to see cool shit?
I don't know, man, because I'll tell you, in 1998, when I first discovered ECW and the first thing I saw was Sabu ripping his arm in fucking barbed wire, I was like, fuck yeah, this is what I want to watch. And I started watching it, and it fucking rocked. You know what I mean? Like that, I don't...
Well, here's the thing. The real answer to my question is they haven't. This is bad faith, pearl-clutching nonsense from people who aren't being real or genuine. It's this tribalism out of control is all that it is, because you're not seeing people who enjoy AEW make these complaints. That's not who it is.
I will say, I think there are more fans than you probably think these days who are, because there's always there's this growing thing too now where like a move happens and it's like, oh, I love how they protected wrestler Y so much when they took this move. And then, when wrestler X, got thrown in a kind of a weird way, that wrestler Y checked on them right away. That's really cool. And it's awesome. I'm like, that fucking, no, I don't care. It doesn't, I want to see them. I want the sense of danger. I want the sense of struggle. I want the sense that, oh my God, what I'm watching is hurting these people. I want to believe that these people are being hurt. That's what the game is all about. That's what the simulated sport's all about. And I think you're actually like, I agree that there's a large percentage that are just there to concern troll and get likes on Twitter and that sort of stuff. But I do think there is a segment of fans who, again, approach this wrestling as if it is theatrical, that it is a play, and that it is this sort of stuff where you and I and a lot of the people listening to this think of it as a brutal simulated sport. And that's what we want out of it. We want the idea that these men are being put into danger. These men and women are hurting themselves or getting to the brim of hurting themselves, whatever it may be. Whereas a lot of people think they're just watching a play. And they're just watching, they literally, in some cases, literally watching a play on SmackDown every single week. But that, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of fans that approach it that way, as opposed to the way that we want danger and a sense of pain and struggle and injury and that sort of stuff, which to me is what wrestling is all about.
Well, I mean, I guess to a degree I agree with that, but I think it's also your Jim Cornettes of the world who are constantly railing on.
Forget him.
But here's the thing: you cannot forget him.
Don't forget him. I know too many people don't forget him. Yes,
that's my point. He's hugely influential, whether you like it or not. And he's been screaming about this company being a mud show and indie shit and unsafe and all of this. And it undoubtedly carries influence, because then the people who sort of, the lower level grift brigade, like the Twitter engagement accounts, they parrot the things that Cornette and some of these other people say. And then it is influential. I mean, it just is. And then it becomes a talking point, and it becomes a narrative that one company is unsafe and puts all of their people in danger, and the other company is professional and is safe and no one's ever in danger. And it just,
right. Even though they're all tearing their ACLs left and right, and there's the injury list, the fucking match unit in WWE is enormous. But sure, okay, yeah, the safe.
AEW undoubtedly gives far more leeway to their wrestlers to do more dangerous things. There's no doubt about that. But so what?
Wrestling's dangerous, man. Wrestling's dangerous. The second you step in,
I don't know when fans became such fucking nerds.
That's it. Yeah.
And I do think the anti-Tony Khan grift has a lot to do with that. And we can't just keep saying, oh, well, forget Jim Cornette. Well, no, I truly believe that Jim Cornette and this new legion of negativity, I believe it affects AEW's business. I really do. I think the bad guys are winning here.
Oh, for sure. I know people in real life who used to watch AEW now don't, and just listen to Cornette, and I know they do, because when they talk to me about it, they're just spitting out Cornettisms and stuff, and it's like, okay, and I'll know exactly what Cornette's bringing up, because I'll hear from those people, and they'll say, oh yeah, I don't understand what's going on, and these CMLL guys, and and then people will say, yeah, Cornette's bitching about this, and like it's like word for word some weeks that I hear, and it's just like, yeah, I was like, man, what happened to you? This person that I'm talking, one of these guys that I'm talking to used to send me Ring of Honor DVDs, like in the mail, like he used to be one of those fans, and now he's like, these CMLL guys, I don't really understand them. I don't understand why I'm supposed to like them.
Well,
or whatever. I'm like, what happened to you, man? Come on.
The thing about it is, we take a lot of victory laps here, and we do a lot of bits about how right we are all the time. There's one thing since we've been doing this show that I was so wrong about, and I've never been more wrong in my life when it's come to a wrestling take or a wrestling opinion, then I truly believed that wrestling fans in great numbers in the majority wanted a true alternative to enter the Major League Pro Wrestling space in America. And I was dead wrong about that. Wrestling fans en masse never wanted that. All they wanted was for WWE, the promotion that they grew up on, to be better. That's what they really wanted.
Or they wanted a WWE that was run by somebody other than Vince McMahon.
Other than Vince, yeah, which is essentially the same point when you really boil it down. But, you know, and these people, for whatever reason, and, you know, led by their cheerleaders like Cornette and Bischoff and Raj Giri and all of these corny engagement Twitter accounts, these people, no matter what they say, they abhor the idea that AEW even exists. They can't stand it. They can't stand it exists, and that there are fans who prefer it, and that there are people who think it's a better version of pro wrestling than what WWE presents. They hate that. They can't stand it, and it bothers them, and that's why AEW and Tony Khan is treated so unfairly in general by the vast majority of wrestling media. Not all wrestling media, but the vast majority.